Welcome once again to my YouTube channel where we talk about our mental health. If you've not subscribed, you are welcome to hit the subscribe button so that you receive every video that we post. And for those who have subscribed, again, thank you very much. Today we are going to talk about signs of childhood trauma in adults. In other words, how do you know that an adult person was traumatized as a child? Let me first define trauma. Trauma are disturbing incidents that stick in our mental health. I'm trying to use layman language so that you can understand, that later on get to affect your life. Now, sign number one that you are traumatized as a child. And when I speak trauma, it may be physical abuse, it may be sexual abuse, emotional, being neglected, witnessing a traumatic experience like someone committed suicide and you walked in and found they have hung themselves. That can be traumatizing as a child. Your parents being battering each other. You may have experienced separation of your parents that hurt you as a child. You are young, you didn't understand why mom and dad don't live together. It may be a death of a parent or a loved one. It may be chronic illness of a parent or a loved one. All these experiences can be traumatizing. So how do you know that someone was traumatized or faced trauma as a child? Number one, depression. So they have all the signs of depression, which we are going to discuss in another video. And in order to manage and cope, they abuse substance. And the other thing is they get anxiety. They are so anxious because they are trying to cope with a situation. They are jumpy, they are nervous, they are paranoid. They have a lot of trauma, they have a lot of paranoia. You don't want to catch a bus because maybe someone you loved crashed in a bus. You don't want to catch a plane. You have a phobia of water because maybe you know someone who drowned. So again, you also have anxiety and you develop certain phobias later on as you grow up. The other thing is that you are attracted to toxic people. Most people who have grown up with toxic parents who shout, who beat, who mistreat, you will be surprised how the brain has a way of adapting and finding a comfort zone in what it knows. There's a video once I talked about the creature brain that protects us. So you stick to what you know. So please revisit the creature brain, then you can understand why I'm saying that you get attracted to toxicity, because you've been brought up in a toxic environment. That becomes your normal. That is what you know. Your father or your mother was harsh and was abusive. So you end up being married to an abusive person because your normal is abuse. I hope that is clear because it is very important. And if you come from an abusive family, it's important to seek therapy so that you don't end up getting married to an abusive person. If that is already the case, then seek therapy so that you are able to undo. In psychology, we say behavior is learned and unlearned, so that you are able to undo for the sake of your children. Otherwise, the cycle can go on and on. The other sign of adults who have grown in childhood trauma is selective amnesia. You cannot remember your childhood. Did you used to play when you were young? I can't remember. Where did you used to go? You can't for the life of you remember how it was at home. Again, the brain has a very special way of protecting you. It forgets. That's why we are saying selective amnesia. It was so traumatic, you don't want to remember. You block. So check yourself if you can't remember your childhood, your friends. What did you used to do at 6 years in class 1, grade 1? How was it? If you can't remember completely, totally, up to when you are in grade 3, then probably you need to check. Are you traumatized? Are you blocking it? The other thing is you avoid relationships. You are abused by whoever, relatives, male, female, fellow kids. So you avoid interpersonal relationships. You become a loner. You become a loner. Not that you're an introvert, but you become a loner. And when you see like you're getting close to people, you disappear. So I hope that is making you understand why you have this amazing person who, once you start getting close into a relationship, they fall off the face of the earth. They probably have childhood traumas. And finally, chronic illness. High blood pressure from nowhere. Stressors and ulcers. Maybe you have carried so much that you have not let out. And that is where therapy comes in. Seek therapy so that you can process. You can process. You can learn techniques and methods of how to cope. It doesn't have to stick in your mind forever. You don't have to take drugs to forget about these things. You can seek therapy and you can be helped. I always encourage you to seek therapy for things that are mentally disturbing you. Remember, you've got this. You've got this. Let me know what else you think projects childhood trauma. Thank you very much.